Millionaires and wealthy people in general. How did you make your money? Can you give any advice to the younger generation? I live in Eastern Europe. In 1990, I took out a huge loan and bought 10 apartments. I furnished them and rented them out. All the income went toward paying off the debt. I repeated this process every 10 years or so. Now I own 30 apartments and have one employee who manages the properties and handles the bills. The key to success is finding good tenants and maintaining good relationships with them. But how can someone get such a large sum if they have nothing to start with? I believe this plan works once you already own some properties. But to get started, you could try finding guarantors and begin with 2 or 3 apartments. Once those are yours, you can mortgage them to get new loans without needing a guarantor. Of course, a lot depends on the country you live in. Here's another piece of advice for anyone wanting to try something similar. Don't do anything extravagant with the apartments. Don't buy luxury properties. The more money you put in, the longer it'll take to pay off. Plus, if you get a bad tenant, you might be hit with expensive repairs. At 20, I started working as a programmer, back when the internet was really taking off. I built websites and databases. At the time, the software was still primitive and the web was a new thing. I never built my own Facebook or Amazon, but I still made good money thanks to my programming skills. From the very beginning, I used all my earnings to buy houses. Eventually, I was able to purchase an apartment building on the coast of California. Now I'm in my 40s. I don't consider myself super rich. I still check prices carefully when shopping and plan to keep driving my old Jeep until it dies. But when I travel, I like staying in nice hotels and usually fly business class. Overall, though, I live pretty modestly. My story is similar. We started working in the 90s during the dot-com boom. When our company went public, I discovered my shares were worth tens of millions, and I was still under 37. Thankfully, I cashed out before the market crashed. Good read, but here I am spending 97% of my free time online and $100 a month on fast food and video games. To be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I work, go to university, and spend my free time at home playing games. I'm not rich, and I don't have big ambitions or goals, but I'm happy with my life. Don't marry a woman who can't control her spending. Wedding expenses usually reveal how well a woman manages her self-control. You'll never get rich if your wife spends money as fast as you earn it. I used to throw myself in front of cars and sue the drivers. At 18, I joined the Army. I liked it and decided to become an officer. They sent me to university, which I successfully completed. My officer salary was pretty solid, and we didn't have too many bills to pay each month. I was able to save anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a month. Over time, I managed to save about $200,000. Then I hired a financial manager, and for several years, he handled my money well. I bought a couple of houses and rented them out. Now it's been 17 years since I joined the Army. My current net worth is close to $2 million, and I've got a good pension coming. I'm about to become a lieutenant colonel. The key is simple: work and save. And by the way, I'm not exactly thrilled with my job these days, but the good pay motivates me to stick around a few more years. I became wealthy after my parents passed away. Edited. If you're thinking of making a Batman joke, don't. You're not the first, and it's not funny. I always save consistently, putting away 40% of my salary, and invested in stocks. I got my money back a long time ago. How do I know what companies to invest in? I've been doing this since I was 18. I have a degree in economics and a strong interest in different markets. But honestly, there's no way to know anything for sure. I have a diversified portfolio with stocks from 10 companies in different sectors. Technically, that's not enough diversification, but I don't really care. All these companies are among the most actively traded in my country. I live in Denmark, and all these companies are part of the Mixkit 20 index. Over time, these stocks go up. Some are always in the red, others in the black. Some drop by 30%, others rise by 40%. But if you look at the yearly returns, my portfolio grows by about 7% each year, even during economic downturns. I think the worst thing you can do with your money is not invest it. I was extremely frugal. I didn't buy cars, didn't care what people thought of me. I just saved and invested, never made hasty decisions, always invested for the long term. and never worried about market corrections. It took me quite a bit of time, but I actually enjoyed the process. As they say, the stock market is a tool that transfers money from the impatient to the patient. I converted myself and my money into Zimbabwean dollars. A lot of people go for those winter is coming dollars, but forget about Vietnamese dong. You can become a millionaire for $50. I won a bunch of money at a casino. Not enough to quit my job and buy a mansion, but enough to live comfortably. My son's future is secured too. I sell consulting services to chief engineers at companies that don't even realize how much they're overpaying me. We're not millionaires yet, but we're close. My wife and I both have technical scientific backgrounds. I still pack my own lunch and drink from public water fountains. I go out to restaurants with coworkers maybe once a month. I always carry a reusable bottle and refill it with free water and ice from the cafeteria. I'm just over 30 now. 2 years ago, we bought a $500,000 house and paid off about 40% of it already. Hopefully, we can pay off the rest soon. Besides that, I've got around $350,000 in liquid assets and stocks. I drive a 9-year-old Scion and a 13-year-old Camry. Our clothes are from thrift shops. We don't have cable TV. We shop at discount stores and always hunt for deals. But that doesn't mean we don't enjoy life. We've been to Europe, Dubai, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Puerto Rico, Vegas multiple times in Canada. Next month, we're flying to California. My philosophy is, if you don't care about some part of life, treat it like you're broke. For example, we love to travel, so we spend money on it. I love photography, so I have an expensive camera. My wife loves doing her nails. We've got a whole drawer full of nail polish, but I don't care much about food, so I cook at home and avoid restaurants. Same with cars. Live simply, invest wisely, spend money consciously, and love unconditionally. Someone in this thread is probably looking for a rich sugar daddy. I'm about to get my first million. Just need to send my banking info to my new friend from Nigeria. He's a prince, by the way, and he's going to wire it right over. How do I know if I'm a millionaire? If it's based on assets, then yeah, I've got about $1 million in real estate. But in cash, basically nothing. I've always been super frugal, saved way more than anyone I know. At 23, I bought property that's appreciated a lot since then. But I'm stuck with a mortgage that I can barely handle. So yeah, I feel poor, even though I built all of this myself. I earned my first million when I turned 33. The next million was much easier. Best advice? Start building wealth as early as possible. I used to live like a total cheapskate, saving every penny. I didn't buy my first car until I was 30, and it was a total junker. I never spent money on holidays or bought stuff I didn't absolutely need. To me, holidays were just regular weekends. I'd either take walks on the beach or do something free. When I saved my first $10,000, I got a mortgage and threw every spare dollar at paying it off. Every time I got a raise at work, I used it to crush more debt, not to upgrade my lifestyle. Now I'm 45 and saving isn't a priority anymore because I already have a solid capital base. I can spend every dollar I earn, and my core wealth still grows on its own. Bottom line, your clothes and your car don't define you. Start saving when you're young. See those cool, trendy things on other people? Forget them. You don't need any of that. Save your money. Invest in things you understand and believe in. Put away as much as you can. And live below your means. Your money should work for you, not the other way around. And first of all, stop wasting time on Reddit. I was born into a poor family. At 18, I moved to Southeast Asia and started flipping electronics. By 20, I moved back to the US and founded an office supplies company. Now I'm financially secure, my company has 200 employees, and I never have to worry about money again. The best advice I can give? Steal ideas. Steal them again, and keep stealing. All my best ideas came from people smarter than me. Production methods, business models, sales strategies, you name it. Don't be obnoxious about it, but still, steal. There are a lot of people around you who are way smarter. Use that. Take their ideas. Every wealthy person I know has one thing in common. They all run some kind of unexpected business. What do I mean? One owns a company that launders tablecloths for restaurants. Another buys land and rents it to other companies. Another sells medical equipment. And trust me, these people are all in. They've built their success through years of quiet, focused effort. None of it happened by accident. So start your own business, stick with it, and don't chase trends, think about what's not popular. Not everyone can make money selling t-shirts with logos, though it feels like everyone tries. Remember, people are always willing to pay for convenience. Find a way to make their lives easier and they'll pay you for it. As for me, I was just born into it. My money came from my parents, and in college, people kind of hated me for it, LOL. But I'd say my parents had it much harder. They grew up in ordinary families in India, born in the late 1950s. They studied hard and worked even harder for the good of their families. Eventually, they moved to California, got master's degrees, then PhDs, and spent the next 30 years working for big tech companies. My dad eventually became a CEO or something like that. They invested a lot in real estate too, including a house in California they bought for $1.1 million. Now it's worth $35 million. Last year, my fiance's grandparents won a huge amount of money, over $10 million. They're generous people, so they shared it with the whole family. I grew up basically on the poverty line, so all of this still blows my mind sometimes. But that doesn't mean I don't plan to do anything with my life. We put my husband's money into a trust fund, and now we have a team of financial advisors. We literally can't buy anything without their approval. Any money we don't use gets reinvested by the bank managing the trust. The money hasn't changed our relationship. We lived together for a year and a half in an apartment the size of a garage, and we still love each other just the same. We're getting married soon. We're not signing a prenup, but we did sign a cohabitation agreement. My name is on the house deed, so if we ever break up, which we won't, everything gets split 50-50. Except the trust money, of course. That's how things are. Honestly, I'm a little surprised his family didn't make me sign a prenup. Thanks for watching. And to the millionaires and just plain rich folks watching this, drop a comment about how you made your money. Also, check out our video on which products are actually worth your money and what's way more dangerous than it seems.